Hey everyone, I'm Nicole Spitler. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be working on a leather look berry Christmas wreath. This is my leather look pattern, which is one of my most popular patterns that I do. And it does have like a leather tooled feel to it. And then I spray it with dark paint, brown paint, and then copper paint. So it gives it a kind of more rustic feel to it. So we're going to get started right now. So I'm going to be using this piece of garland from Michaels. This is about a third of the garland, and I will be stapling it to the neck. And then I'm going to be using this garland, which is a frosted, icy, almost giving it like a baby's breath look, a Christmas baby's breath. And this I got from Joann Fabrics. And then most everything else I have is from Hobby Lobby. The berries, the pine cones, these very glittery gold pine cones. And I also have my solo wood flowers, of course. So it's pretty simple wreath, pretty easy to make, but a lot of people really love it. It was another one of my really good bestsellers. So I'm just going to turn the wreath so I can actually staple it to the horse's neck. So it's going to be loud, but this is the best way to actually get this on here. You can try gluing it. You can also drill holes down the neck and then wire it in. Then it will secure it a little bit better. So after I have that done, I normally just come through and glue where the staples are so it stays good. And then I'm going to take a little piece of styrofoam and put it on the base of the horse's neck. And then before I do anything else, I'm gonna hold that really securely. But before I do anything else, I'm going to glue this piece of rope. It's kind of like a macrame rope. And I do it in like this backwards V shape. And I'm gonna lay the rope right down here along the edge here, and then I'm going to leave a little tail here so I can glue it around the other side, which I'll do probably at the end. Then I'm just going to cut this off right here. And I usually put like a nice little wood flower here, but I'm going to be adding some more things. And then I usually put a frosted pine cone there as well. Not everything is always the same, just because it's like impossible to have it the same. I'm always tell people I'm not Walmart, I'm not Amazon, so I do things a little bit differently each time, but everything is generally very close to the same. I'm going to actually staple this here also and then glue it. And I always cover all my mechanics, which would be my glue, my staples, styrofoam, all that stuff. Okay, so the next, I like these really dark berries. They're very rich. I happen to just love this color, so I'm gonna cut this into a couple different pieces, and then I'm gonna glue it. Okay, so I'm just cutting this into different sections. And we're just going to take these down the neck again. Just kind of push it on there. things glue very easily to the pine, it's gluing it to the wood that's more difficult, and that's why I tend to staple a lot of things to the wood directly on there. Of course, I'm burning myself with my glue, as I always do. That's why these gloves help a lot, because I do tend to burn myself a lot. Definitely the hazard of being a crafter. I'm going to actually put this berry a little more forward because I like it to come off almost like a little bit like a forelock, but not quite. And I'm going to put this here because there's a bare spot. Okay. Now I'm going to take this. I'm not going to use a lot of it, but I like it because it kind of looks like baby's breath, like I said. And I know that might sound strange for Christmas, but I like it because it kind of looks lacy. And hopefully I can find some more this year. And that's it. I just need a little bit. I don't need a lot. Throw that over there. And then I'm just going to glue this in. Probably. And then we're going to turn it, Faith going the other way again. Stick that in there. Now, usually when I'm doing a wreath for someone, I'm a little more careful about adhering it and making sure that everything is staying really well, but I'm trying to do this kind of a little bit quicker, so there's not a whole bunch of unimportant things happening. I'll put this last little bit right down here. I'm going to put a large solo wood flower here at the base of the neck. I'm going to be adding a beautiful plaid ribbon, traditional tartan ribbon for Christmas at the very end here. But we have to, once again, hide our mechanics, but I will be sticking the wire into the styrofoam. Okay, so I'm going to add another bigger one right here. And you can do it however you like, and you don't even have to use wood flowers. But once again, I buy like 1,000 wood flowers at a time. But I'm assuming you don't want to do that. So you can also buy them at Hobby Lobby. They have them in their dried section, their dried botanical section. I just love the look of them. I don't care if it's Christmas or not. They're so pretty and they're rustic, but they can also be elegant. Kind of go with whatever feel that you want to create. So I'm just gonna hold these down, make sure they're glued in really well. And then I'm going to add these frosted pine cones. I like to use lots of different looks and kind of move things back and forth this way to give it a thicker mane. And I don't really like everything going in a neat line. I like it to be kind of, I want to say chaotic, but that's not the right word. It's not chaotic, but it just won't look in a straight line, because that kind of gives the impression many times that there's no artistic feel to it. Now, in some cases, that isn't true, but I like a little more random. That's the word I was looking for. Random, not chaotic. Okay, so next we're going to, I just cut a few pieces of pine off this pine spray, and I'm going to put it in our styrofoam. I'm going to do it kind of like in a downward fashion to go with the line of the neck and the mane. If you want to follow along with me, you can also purchase my blanks. I have them completely blank, no pattern or paint, and then I also have the patterned version. And I draw my own designs, so theoretically they should be nowhere else, although sometimes there are scammers who steal my stuff, but it happens. But I do all my own drawings and I pattern everything, which makes it very unique. I'm going to take these very glittery gold pine cone sprays that I get in the pick section of Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to place that at the bottom. And I'm just going to add them in a couple more spots. Probably gonna, and then I always have to look to see how it looks the best too. It's like I don't always, I mean, I have a good idea where things are going, but sometimes I have to change it up because it doesn't look good where I thought it was going to look good. And this is where you can develop your own eye for things. Let's turn it this way right now. And I'm just probably going to use one more. I'm probably going to split it in half because I don't want it to look too bulky. I've got a lot of bulky items here. And that's where the delicate filigree type greenery helps to break that up, because you don't want also the same weight, visual weight of things. Like I wouldn't want all big wood flowers. I wouldn't want all the same size pine cones. I wouldn't want everything to be exactly the same, because it's just not very interesting. You always want people to think something is visually interesting, because we're human beings and we get bored very easily. So I think I do actually need one more pine cone here or something there. It's not, there's a little bit, looks a little bit naked. So I think I might just shove this one like that in there. Okay. And then I'm going to show you how to make a bow, because we're just about almost done with this, believe it or not. These go quick because I have everything organized. I know what I'm doing. In real life, I'm not as organized, but I do try. Okay, so I'm just gonna like kind of look at this, and I see that this is a little bit what I call bouffant. It's too thick, it's too heavy up here. So I'm actually gonna cut off this big pine cone and maybe put it like down here instead. I don't like when things are super heavy up at the pole, so a lot of times I'll actually go back in and cut things out, because it can look really unbalanced. So you can always take away, and that actually looks better just doing that. But I do tweak things, you know, even after I'm done, but you get the idea at least. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of like snow and stuff all over this, but we can get rid of that later. Okay, so this beautiful tartan plaid ribbon, you can use any ribbon that you want. You can use burlap ribbon, which is another thing I like to use, and I'm going to show you how to make a bow. So you take the ribbon I mean, and you're going to just find the center and keep bringing the bow back onto the center itself. You're going to just keep curling it back. So then you're going to make this loop smaller, this loop smaller. I'm going to keep going back to the center. My ribbon is getting stuck. I'm going to make this loop smaller, go back to the center. This loop smaller, go back to the center. and then we take a loop for the middle. Then you're gonna cut it, okay? And then you make the little tail. If you want a bigger, thicker bow, you can repeat more loops, but that doesn't usually look as good. I usually just remake this part again and then just tie it together. So then I take some fairly thick wire, take the wire through here, and just secure it this way. This is a true floral bow that Michaels and Hobby Lobby and Joann Fabrics charge about anywhere between $5 and $7 to $10 for one of these bows. But there's the gist, because here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna put it in here and it's gonna kind of bunch it up itself. So I'm just going to glue that in. Like that, and there's the bottom, there's the bow, and then after it's a little glued in there, I'll separate it, okay? I'll separate all the loops. All right. There's a little styrofoam here that is still exposed, and I'm just going to take a few little pieces of pine and cover it. And then basically, we are done. Okay, and then you know, if you want something else in there, you do it. Okay, I've already taken polyurethane after I painted it. It gives it a little protection and it makes it a little bit glossy. And that's everything. All right, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can like and subscribe for more equestrian decor. Sometimes I do a few other kinds of decor. And if you want something specific, please just leave it in the comments. All right, thank you. Until next time.